Welcome to the first episode of Behind the Code. I'm your host, Joe from DevHub. I'm excited about this first episode because we're going to talk with the NEAR Dev in house team that built Treasury Dashboard. This product was built in house for internal needs, is now becoming a full-fledged product here in the NEAR ecosystem. We're going to talk to the product owner and some developers about the process of coming up with this idea, about actually building the product, technology it's leveraging, and how it's using NEAR to execute on its ideas. So let's go behind the code.
One of the problem that we saw is that many DAOs and small teams that have a budget need an easy way to manage and distribute their funds. And they're often complex processes when it comes to approving and distributing payments. There are multiple steps and tools involved, as well as stakeholders, which can make it difficult to track everything in a transparent way. With NEAR Treasury, you can easily collaborate with your team, track the progress of payment activities, and keep your treasury secure. It is fully decentralized and open source.
Just
It
a
is
little
built
bit
on
of history that there was a Sputnik DAO, a more generic smart contract that allows you to be very flexible. It's again the very solid foundation for building DAOs, which is fairly simple in on the concept level. It's a contract that records the proposals, can list the proposals, and can you can define the rules how and who can vote for the proposals. That is what the contract does, and we leverage just a subset of Sputnik DAO, but we wanted to make it really simple to use, and that was the original goal.
My name is Peter Salmonsen. I've been in the NEAR ecosystem since the very beginning. My kind of way into this was through this project I have called the WebAssembly Music. For the Treasury tool, this is a management tool of funds. This is a plan for making sure that these funds are distributed to whoever have been contributing to the ecosystem in some way, that we have a tool for managing all the funds that have been applied for, that they want to get a compensation.
So I'm Megha. I am working with DevHub for almost 1 year now. I am a front-end developer. So I majorly work on their portal. They can customize their own theme, their own coloring, their own pages, whichever they want. They can even add more features by accessing their boss widgets. So it's all in their hands. We are not controlling anything. We'll just give them a basic template which they can access, and then they can go ahead from there.
So what we found over the last couple years is that we've been trying to manage a budget and work in a decentralized way with a lot of contributors. And it's actually really hard to make payments as a team because you need to make sure that there are the right levels of permissions in place, and a lot of existing tools out there make that process really difficult. So we found that our team was experiencing that, and when we talked with other partners in the ecosystem as well, they shared similar issues. And we've tried coming up with many manual workflows and lots of tools to work around that. Long term, we obviously want to expand that beyond the NEAR ecosystem. We want anyone that's trying to do decentralized treasury management.
So we have built it on BOSS, the blockchain operating system on NEAR. We chose it because of the self-create instance. What happens is we have an account where all the widgets are deployed, and then any user can come and create their own instance, which will be deployed onto their own account, which they can handle, which whose keys will be with them. And for the indexer, we have built a indexer using the NEAR Blocks API to which helps in querying the blockchain.
So the blockchain operating system that has been around for some years now, and it offers a consistent way, a secure way to deploy all these components in that makes up the user interface. And we also leveraged Web 4 technology here, which is also making it possible to not have to use any other components. In this case, we are using some other components as well, but it actually, Web 4 is something that enables to be able to create a full stack application entirely on NEAR. So you don't need another cloud hosting service. You can build your backend in a smart contract and the front end in also in the smart contract, because this Web4 gateway will serve it as a web page. What you have in your smart contract, we are using different RPC providers here. We are using services for giving us transaction history, which is obviously needed for treasury management. Then we need to track the funds at all times, the funds that we have staked, the funds that are in different kind of tokens. We are using various services for that. This management tool were from the very beginning that the purpose of NEAR was to really, in the beginning, it was AI, but they needed a way to pay all the contributors, all the developers, all the people in the ecosystem. And I think this this treasury management tool is actually fulfilling that purpose.
We also wanted to solve our own pain point. So we also wanted to have the treasury. We wanted to be efficient at managing it. And that's where we started. They're actually using the framework called BOSS, Blockchain Operating System, on NEAR, where those all widgets are stored on blockchain on different contract. It's called Social DB. We store it there, and there is a way to render those widgets. So the whole UI that you will see when you visit, when you create your treasury, NEAR Treasury, are pulled from the blockchain, rendered in your browser, and those components pull data again from the blockchain and display the data in front of you. And also what we leverage is so-called Web4. Web4 is the technology that also built on NEAR. On the application that you deploy to the blockchain, you can define functions that external users can call. So Web4 leverages the second type of functions, view functions. So when you define in your application the function with the name web4_get, it expects to receive the HTTP headers, and it can return HTTP response. Obviously, it can the function that you deploy lives on the blockchain, so there is no native way to interact with your function directly. In case of the treasury application, it's fully public, and everyone on the internet can view it, can understand which proposals were submitted, who submitted them, who voted for them.
I think one thing that is very clear, unique on NEAR is this Web4 technology, that we can serve a web page from a smart contract. You could probably do that on other chains too, but not as rich. And what we have on NEAR also with the smart contracts that are WebAssembly based, that means that we can write them in quite a bit of we can write them in different languages. We use Rust though, because there are many reasons for that, good reasons. It's a great language to create such functionality in. And
the power of the blockchain is in that you basically have all your apps always available on chain. So it's if with a growing number of applications deployed there, you can build the interactions between them and make cross-contract calls. And specifically, Sputnik DAO relies a lot on those external applications such as lockup contracts, multi-sender, and composing those together, it makes the app even better. So it's more like a Unix approach. One tool does one thing great, and then you compose them into the pipelines of that would solve your use case. This is exactly the case for NEAR Treasury.
So what we have found to be super helpful in the journey of developing a product is to ship fast and talk to customers fast. So throughout this entire journey of developing this NEAR Treasury, we talked with various teams with different contexts and gave them access to come and take a look And that was really helpful because we realized so many assumptions that we were making on our own use case that did not apply to another team, which made us really take a step back and think about how do we solve for the most number of users, which is a hard balance sometimes to find. But we continued to do that. Every time we found a new issue or problem, we implemented it, gave it back to the user for testing, and continued that way. And that's something I really think that any team that's developing a product, whether in Web3 or not, should be doing, is like always keep the users in mind. And I'm sure that we're going to find more users that are now coming onto this product in the beta that will show us things that we haven't thought about that we'll try to incorporate. And we really want to make sure that this product is making people's lives better and easier. And that's really the core of it at the end of the day. So every time NEAR Treasury is a multi-signature treasury management solution for decentralized teams to manage their digital assets securely. And whether you're a grant recipient, DAO, or finance group, we found that managing funds as a team can be surprisingly complex. And that's why we focused on building an intuitive UI that makes it easier for teams to customize their voting policies and manage their funds together. Now, to create a new treasury, you can head over to neartreasury.com and click the Get Started button. And this will take you through the creation flow of setting up a treasury and adding members. Now, once you have your treasury ready, here are some of the things you can do. First, when you load the dashboard screen, you'll be able to gain financial clarity and see things like your treasury's total value, token balances, and transaction history. Now, if you want to collaborate with your team on payment requests, you can head over to the Payments tab, and here you can create and approve requests and execute them with multi-signature approvals. Now, stake delegation is where you can do the same thing, but for staking requests, unstaking requests, and withdrawals. And settings is where you can customize permissions and settings like voting thresholds and duration. Now, security and transparency are super important, and that's why we built NEAR Treasury using the Sputnik DAO v2 contract, which helps keep everything decentralized and on-chain. And we really hope that this tool will make it easier for teams to focus on what they do best without dealing with all of the overhead of managing funds.